What is up, you guys? So for today's video, I wanted to do a quick tutorial video in between my Italy series again, because as I had mentioned in my last tutorial video, I am currently editing my Italy series, and normally I would keep the tutorials until the very end of the series or in between two series, but I thought it was kind of interesting to do it maybe in the moment when I'm actually doing the things that I'm explaining. So about an hour ago, I had to actually shoot a thumbnail for my last tutorial video that I was posting. So I wanted to kind of go through the process of how I get my thumbnails, little tips and tricks, and show you guys how you can do it for yourself. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to subscribe if you guys haven't done so already, and let's get started. Okay, so basically I do two different types of thumbnails. One is for my informational style videos, and then the other is for my regular travel vlogs. So I want to actually get into the tutorial portion. I'm going to show you guys a screen recording and go through that with the voiceover. Okay, so as you can see, I have a bunch of different versions that I actually took. I first tried it against a wall where the lighting wasn't good, and so it was kind of turning out a little bit grainy, but then I just went right in front of the window, and you don't necessarily need to do it in front of a blank wall. It's just going to make it easier once you actually bring it into Photoshop. But here I have my 3 photos I've selected. So then what I'm going to do is I just dragged it into Photoshop here, and because I have a plugin called Camera Raw, I can actually edit just like I would in Lightroom and edit all the lighting and change like the hues of the colors and all that. So I wasn't too sure which photo I wanted to use, so I just dragged all 3 in so I'd have the option, and then you can actually mask color them on this Color Raw extension in Photoshop as well. To be honest, I don't actually know Photoshop super well. I basically just know the basics, but I mean, you can learn anything from YouTube. So if you're ever confused or feel like Photoshop's kind of intimidating, just honestly go in there, play around, and then search up YouTube tutorials if you're confused. So because I took this photo basically wearing no makeup, had a bunch of dry shampoo in my hair, and actually had a sports bra underneath, I'm just gonna go in and use the patch tool and actually remove that sports bra just to give it a more of a put together look. But what I'm gonna do as well is, like I said, I wasn't wearing any makeup, so I'm just going in and I'm going to just get rid of a few of the spots on my face, my under eye circles, all that. And I feel like for a thumbnail, you want it to look nice and presentable, so no shame in that. And the photo's just gonna look a lot better. It's kind of nice because with Photoshop, if you have a zit, if anything's kind of a little off, don't worry, you can just Photoshop that out. Doing a few more tweaks, I'm also gonna go in and like brighten up my eyes. You can do that by using the dodge tool. Dodge and burn will brighten up and darken it. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually cut myself out of the image. And like I'd mentioned, if you do take this against a blank wall, it's gonna be a heck of a lot easier, but you don't necessarily need to. You can basically use any environment that's well lit. And so I'm just taking that selection tool and selecting all around my body. If you do the auto selection, sometimes it doesn't fully get around where your body is. So what I'll do is then I'll use the minus button and then just go in there. Usually I'll have it go a little bit wider out if it's around a kind of a complicated area like hair, and then I can go in and just erase that later. So as you can see here, I create a new layer thing. I go new layer with layer mask, press OK, and then it goes on a Photoshopped wall that looks like this. So then I'll just get my erase tool and I'll go all around my hair and just smooth that out a little bit, just so it looks nice and clean. All right, so then once that looks all good, what I'll do is I'll take that and I will make the thumbnail dimensions. So that's 1280 by 720 pixels, and then I will drag that image onto the new frame. And it's going to be a lot bigger because usually photos are a lot more high quality when you take them on a camera. So I will just shrink that down, put that in the frame. For my thumbnails, I do where myself is right in the middle, and then I have a photo on either side. And then I'm going to bring in 2 of my other travel photos. So since this was a tutorial video that had to do with one of my Italy videos, I decided to use 2 Italy photos. You want to have it pertaining to something that you're talking about in the video, definitely not just random photos. And then the next thing I'm going to do is add text. So for these ones, I'm just putting a big how-to. For this font, I basically always use the same font. So I'm using this Beavis New one. And since it is white text, I'm going to use a black drop shadow here. And when you first put the drop shadow on, it will go onto this multiply thing, but you want to change it to normal, and then I will just kind of play around with the tabs until it's something that I like. And I like to put the text sometimes on a bit of an angle, so I'm just fitting that into the image there. And then for this one, I'm going to do color, I think, just to make it stand out a little bit more. I honestly would just play around with the colors and the position until it's something that I like. And I find that comes with practice, which knowing what's going to look good, because sometimes I'm just like, this doesn't feel right. And so then I'll just continue playing around with the thumbnail. So the last thing I'm going to do, just because there was nothing in the camera when I was taking it, it was just in front of like blinds, I'm actually going to to save the thumbnail and then stick that little version into the camera just for fun. I mean, no one's really going to be able to see it, but if they happen to, it's kind of like a just a nice little addition. So then I'm going to save that. One thing to note about YouTube thumbnails is you can only make it 2 megabytes, and then I will just put that into YouTube there and upload the video, and there you go. Okay, so on to the second type of thumbnail, which is my travel thumbnails that you guys see. And so I'm bringing over this edited Italy photo that I took. I'm right in front of the Colosseum. I feel like it's a very like iconic Rome photo. So we're just going to make a really big text that says Rome. So I'm just typing that out. I'm going to change the font for this one to my usual font I use, which is actually, where is it? Okay, so Surfing Capital. And I've been using this one for quite a while now. I'm just making that text really big so it kind of fills the screen, and then making it white, and then I just play around with the size of both the photo and the text until it's something that I like. If I have a word that has even letters on both sides, I like to have myself right in the middle and then put maybe 2 spaces in between those letters, and so my body fits right in between the word. And then a little trick to making it seem like it's even more kind of like embedded in the photo, the word, erase the parts of the word that actually touch where your body is. And then I do want to make this word stand out a little bit more, so what I'll do is I'm going to actually do another drop shadow on this, just because the white words and there is some white part of the background is kind of blending in a bit too much, so it's just going to make it stand out a little bit. And then what I'm going to do to make the image look even better is I'm going to go into the patch tool, and as you can see there was some construction kind of in the Colosseum, and so I want to get rid of those gates that are underneath and just make it look nice and clean and crisp for the thumbnail photo. And for this one in particular, I wanted to do, because the vlog was how to do Rome in a day, I wanted to have Rome in a day in there as well. So once again, I was just playing around with the text, trying to figure out kind of what worked. I started with orange and I'm like, I don't know if I love that. So I decided to do white text with a black drop shadow. So I'm just adjusting that size. I'm kind of figuring out what works. Honestly, these thumbnails, it's just a lot of minor adjusting. I spend so long doing minor adjustments until it's exactly what I like. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to make the Rome part a little bit brighter because I want that to stand out even more. And then, yeah, I think that's basically good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save that there, and then we'll upload it to YouTube, and there you go. So yeah, that's basically how I do my 2 different types of thumbnails. Also leave a comment down below letting me know if you are a YouTuber or if you have a channel, and then I can go check that out and comment on one of your videos. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.